educational need for children with special needs. We are always going to have, and we know that at no point of time we are going to be able to do away with this. So it is also in the government legislation policies, the Right to Education Act, Sarva Shikshan Abhiyan. These are all government policies. IEDC scheme, Integrated Education of Children with Disabilities, RMSA. Now, why I'm sharing this with you, not name dropping about policies and legislation, but when it is a government policy, you must understand that the job opportunities are there. If it is in a policy for every school to have a special council, to have a special program, it leads to a financial support, and it leads to a proper appointment and government jobs. So these schemes are meant to bring to your awareness that yes, it is, when you do this course, you do get recognition because it's a policy, it's a government policy to have this. And Right to Education Act is pretty recent, you know. Now, autism, why particularly in autism? We have seen that there is a rise. Most of the data indicates that there is a rise in prevalence rate of autism. And many children with autism are admitted in general school. Now, all children do not require special schools. Try and understand that. So when they are admitted in general schools, general school teachers are unable to make, they are to teach them or to even make them interact with other children. So there is always a need in this area for qualified teachers. Though now, if you look at learning disability, Arya Vidya Mandir School, you would have heard of. They conduct a program, and there are other programs for in-service programs for teachers where they have equipped themselves into learning disability. It's a very old disability, and it's not that children with learning disability cannot adjust in schools and they will find it so difficult. So, you have certain strategies and things like that, and children are by and large, teachers are able to cope with it now, ever after we saw Tare Zameen Pe. And that was a leading point, and it led to a change in the outlook of how we perceive learning disability. But autism yet remains a very tricky field. Now, at SOPAN, B.Ed ASD is run at SOPAN. And what is SOPAN? You should understand the backdrop of where it's being conducted, why it's being conducted, who's conducting it. These are all very, very important things. Now, at SOPAN, if you would have surfed the net sometime, or you would have tried to look for autism, you may have come across on the Facebook and things like that. Society of Parents for Children with Autistic Disorders. We know that for a movement to happen, you have to be very close to the condition at heart. So this was started by a group of parents who felt that there was a dire need of some kind of services. Now, this particular center has parents who have also not only been parents and they have opened up the center, but there are qualified and parents of international recognition. And you can look up the Google and find out more about them. You would have heard, if you type Dr. Rubina Lal, you will get a lot of data about her own publications, about her presentation. She's an international figure when it comes to autism. So this particular SOPAN was started. She's a founder member. And so years back, we were involved in providing services at Suvidya Center of Special Education. We have this 1, 2, 3, 4. We have Samarpan Center for Autism, which is a school for children with autism who cannot adjust in any other school, so they require special education. We have Spandan, which is a preschool intervention program. And we have Center for Developmental Studies. And of late, we have started Sanket, which is an ITC program for adults with autism, because we always felt that there is a dead end in the career of persons with autism. After all, when they transit into adult life, they do require some kind of an occupation or a job. So that's how these centers were already there. And then we jumped into having a course, because we felt for these children at Samarpan, at Sanket, we are always going to have the need to have teachers. So in 2015 this course was started, and the unique features of this particular program that we have is that it is the first and the only B.Ed program in Southeast Asia that prepares teachers to work with children with ASD. It was the pioneer program, and there was a lot of push from RCI, the statutory body that regulates all special education course, that we should have a course of autism, since it was non-existent at that point of time. And there was a dire need, because you can't use LD techniques, learning disability techniques, for the autistic children. You cannot use hearing impaired techniques or ID techniques, because they are predominantly not same. They are different disabilities. You can't have a science teacher, for example, teaching mathematics, and mathematics teacher teaching geography, and geography teacher teaching history. So therefore, there was a need to have a separate program for it. So also this particular program that we have is 2 years, which aims to prepare teachers for inclusive education. So nowhere it is like you are stuck, if that may be one of the query in your mind, that okay, if I do autism, I can't do anything else. No. Just now the focus of all curriculum is to prepare teachers, to prepare students to deal with inclusive education. And that is one important and unique feature, because we have most of our lessons and practice of teaching in schools which are inclusive. So Vidya is led by experts who chaired the committee responsible for designing the B.Ed ASD syllabus. Now, when I'm saying that it's led by experts, it's not like there is a college and the program has started and somebody has just written the syllabus. It's not like that. Now, the syllabus has been designed by people who are a part of SOPAN. So, well, if a handbook or a manual is written by somebody, obviously somebody knows how to actually execute it. It can't be like, I don't know, Mumbai University has prepared the syllabus, well, I can just shrug my shoulder and say, I don't know how to use it. I mean, you need to get back to them. It's not so. Here, they are a part of the committee. They are a part and parcel of everything that moves in the college. So we know how, the know-how of dealing with the subject matter and each and every word that's documented in the syllabus. So it's not that it's just given or it's just documented for paperwork, but actual execution, it's pretty much clear and connected to the life. There are experienced professionals in the field of education, disability studies, and therapeutics who are invited for lectures. So we are not saying that we know it all. Well, we have doctors coming in, we have therapists coming in. They are all invited for the lectures that we have at our institute. I have right in the beginning made a point, students, that you all should know the course or the program or the degree. There are umpteen programs available online, and there are many things that you can avail of, but you must look at the affiliation and the recognition. You may have degrees and degrees and degrees, but don't jump into a situation where you have a degree, but the recognition is not there. Okay, so there are places or institutes that conduct programs, but they do not have an RCI recognition. They are not affiliated to any university. These two things are of paramount importance, and therefore you should look at the validation of any program that you're choosing as a part of your career. You spend money, you get a degree, but you do not have a recognized degree. So I know of students who have taken degrees from XYZ places, but when I ask them, do you have an RCI recognition? They don't. So they cannot be practicing in the field, though they have the qualification, they have the skill set, right? So you should know that we are, so Vidya is a self-funded college, which is affiliated to University of Mumbai. And we have the recognition from RCI, Rehabilitation Council of India, Delhi. Like I told you, I will be talking about this in a bit. RCI is a statutory body whose recognition is mandatory. If you have to have a job, everybody in special education will ask you, do you have an RCI recognition? Last year I was sitting in the interview panel and I had to choose a candidate for becoming a teacher, and she had a degree, but she didn't have an RCI recognition, which is mandated. So we couldn't take her in, and I said, I'm sorry, but you have the right skill set, but for disability related programs, for schools also, it is mandatory that you have an RCI recognition. And RCI gives you a number, a practicing number. Okay, so it gives you a certificate at the end of the program. It comes from New Delhi only. It's not given at the college level or the university level. That degree is separate, and you get a certification from RCI, which says that when you are a recognized practitioner as a special educator, the report that you sign, the report that you give out is recognized. It's signed with your number over there on the report, and that's what gives you recognition. Our curriculum, I'm sure you would want to know what the curriculum is like. The curriculum is prescribed as per the RCI norms, because it's a recognition given by Rehabilitation Council of India, and it's approved by University of Mumbai. The purpose is to prepare teachers. Remember, I repeat, it's to prepare teachers to work with all children with special needs, especially those with autism in the school. When I'm saying all, the curriculum has many papers in common with B.Ed general education. So unless I understand what is normal, I will not understand the deviations. In psychology, you would have studied a paper on deviations in behavior and deviations in, thinking and all of that. So unless I understand what's the normal sequence of development, so therefore you study Piaget and you study Erikson and you study Freud to know what's the normal developmental pattern. Only then will you be able to understand what if the language is not developed at a particular age, what are the deviances. So we have aligned all the papers. So we have learning and teaching, to name a few. We have pedagogy, teaching in the subject area. Should you at any point of time want to quit, or you're bored, or you're depressed with special education, you can always have the advantage to jump into general education, and you get specialization in 2 subject teaching method papers. So you can choose whether you want to be a social science teacher, whether you want to be a maths teacher, whether you want to be a English teacher. And English pedagogy is compulsory for all students. And one more you can choose based on the paper that you have in your graduation. The program is divided into 4 semesters with a balance of theory and practical. So we have semester 1, 6 months, another semester. That's how it's 2 years program. The scope and employment which you should be concerned highly with, that so the scope and the employment possibilities that we have with a teacher with B.Ed degree can work in general schools and including international schools. We have our students in American school, in British school, embassy schools, if you're aware of them. It's a BKC. Our students are there. So I'm saying that they look upon special educators as a very good team member who can be compassionate with all students. And so they do get opportunities in international schools. Those are high-end schools. You also have an average international schools and the others. In special schools, including intervention centers, your job opportunities is from, in the gamut, is from being a resource room teacher to an itinerant teacher to a private practitioner. I would suggest in a women's life, there are times actually the mothers are very, very particular about this. They want to play every role nicely. More commitment towards family is there, is what I can see. So at any point of time you want to quit your job and sit down for some time and then come back, you always have that option. So where you will find that general education and the others have a hierarchy and you miss out, here there's nothing like that. You can sit at home and then come back, or you can have a private practicing situation from your home, or you can approach other centers where you're working for 2 or 3 hours and then you have the whole day to yourself. You have the flexibility is what I'm saying. You may want a full-time permanent job. Yes, that's available, but you can also look at other options. So look at a degree or a qualification that allows you with all those flexibility. That's my suggestion. Personal growth, B.Ed ASD augments and changes attitude. We have had people coming back from banking jobs, coming back from other, careers, high-flying careers in corporate world, but they are bored of it and they feel that it's just 9 to 5 or 9 to 7 job, and I'm just earning money, so that money is taken care of. But sometimes in life you also want to value or appreciate, and I know that psychology students are very very high on it. And so when you look at creating community awareness and involvement in advocacy, you're looking at supporting parents and families when they face difficulties. You want to play a leadership role in school with reference to special education needs. Usually our teachers, where there is one head in special needs department, all the general education teachers look upon them to make a difference and change in that one child. You start appreciating and valuing the smallest human effort towards success. I mean, you feel good about it. When a parent who has had relentless difficulties when it comes to making changes, small changes, eating, feeding, chewing, or writing or holding of pencil or walking, and when they come to you and they learn that, oh, so my child can improve and there are scope, there are ways to deal with it, how much of thankfulness from their heart comes to you. Money is there, but corporate world can never give you that kind of a satisfaction. And your attitude towards valuing it, what we have, being thankful to Lord, also comes automatically. And it's a very big achievement. Like I'm saying, people come back from corporate world and say we have spent all our lives. So I think it's just about, so this is a profession with an emotional contour to it. The process of admission, which is most crucial and most critical, the admission to the B.Ed Special Education ASD program is open to candidates who have cleared the common entrance test, which has a procedure of filling in an application form. Now, this application form, earlier I was told that 20th May was the last date, but luckily for all of y'all, it has been extended, and I will pass on the brochure to Pearl on WhatsApp, and you all can have an access to it and go through the brochure. The deadline is till 30th. So all of y'all who have not appeared for graduation exams also can appear in this. The dates have been extended considering COVID situation around. So you have to clear that CET. If you have not appeared for CET and you want to apply for B.Ed, it's impossible. So you have to clear your CET. The first step for you just now is to fill up the application form that's available on the website ASAP and complete the procedure. Even if you don't want to give the exam, it's okay. It's time that you open your avenues and opportunities for yourself and not shut down doors. So if you don't want to pick up the profession, it's okay. But at least you have given CET and you have that much more repertoire of choices in your bag. So it is conducted by Directorate of Higher Education, Maharashtra. And for detailed information, you can look at the website. Please note it down, www.mahaset.org. Graduate in Science, Maths, Arts, Humanities, and Commerce from recognized universities with minimum 50% marks are eligible to apply. For candidates from reserved category, minimum 45% marks are there. Graduate in Fine Arts, Performing Arts, Business Administration, Engineering, Computer Science, Information Technology from recognized universities, minimum 55% marks. For candidate from reserved category, minimum 50% marks. So you can apply with your the 50% marks because you have this first option. The examination, the CET, is usually conducted in May. Therefore, I have on the slide, you can see that it's conducted in May. But this time, like I'm saying, things are delayed because of pandemic. Therefore, the exams will happen sometime in June, and they will intimate you on the online. So you've got to keep going on it to know. Candidates who are awaiting TY results, and here in your case, even if you're awaiting your TY exams, you are eligible to apply for SET. So all the admission procedure is taken care of only after you have got your results. So admission is given. So it's not like you have to waste your 1 year and wait until then, till you get your results. The CET examination assesses mental ability, teaching ability, and general knowledge. Those who opt for English medium, there is a test in English language. So our course is in English language, so everybody compulsorily should be giving English eligibility test. Yes, 1 year it did happen that one of our student couldn't apply for admission because she had given the other test on mental ability, but she did not appear for English language. It pulls down your scores. And if you ask me that what you should be focusing on, which books, how much to prepare, please do not tax yourself at all. These tests are based on whatever you're learning so far in life has been till 10th standard. So mental ability is not something like, you have got to do a lot of mathematics and you've got to do a lot of reading and writing and all of that. It's general comprehension, it's general, and any non-zero score is acceptable because these are fields where human resource development is warranted by the ministries. So when we want people, we do not refuse admission even if the scores are a little low or high. Just now there isn't cutoff because it's not like a cutthroat competition like you have in medical and engineering and things like that. So here it's a very welcoming field where we need people and people with commitment. So you don't have to worry about which books and everything. You have to just focus on your graduation, because if that's not clear with 50% marks, then this will not uh, hold any value. So therefore you have to focus on graduation exam just now, but apply and keep apply, because apply till 30th, and I will be sending the brochure for the same to Pearl, since I have her WhatsApp with me, and she can forward it to all the students if you are connected on the common group, so that you can read the brochure and understand it better, though it's available online. Now, the enrollment procedure involves that candidates who have cleared the set would be eligible for enrollment to the B.Ed program. There are only 30 seats in every college and every program. So even if you're applying at Department of Special Education, or you're applying at Hashwadwani, or you're applying at Ali Avarjan, or you're applying for any general education college, the rules remain the same. You have to apply for it, and there are 30 seats. 70% seats are for candidates from University of Mumbai, 28% seats are for candidates from other universities in Maharashtra, and 2% seats are for candidates from universities outside Maharashtra. So that sometimes brings down the number that we can accommodate if we have candidates from outside. In fact, this year we have candidates from Chennai also who want to take a hostel and want to stay here and do the course, which is wonderful. But because of COVID, things have gone a little berserk. But so that's what it brings down the possibility of getting admission for candidates from here. 50% of total seats are allocated for candidates from reserved category. So that's how the distribution is, and it brings down the number. But nevertheless, if you have appeared for CET and you have a non-zero score, you are eligible to apply. So please do go ahead in the process. We have come towards the end of the presentation. That's our number, that's the email ID. And Pearl has my WhatsApp number. Pearl has my personal number. Since 30th is very close and it's coming up soon, I would advise that you can connect with me personally directly if you're looking at filling up the form and there is any difficulty in doing so. I will be able to connect with you immediately and guide you into the process. And if there are any questions that you want to ask, because I am sure you will be having queries to what I have said, because I could see a lot of exchange of communication in the chat box, and I asked Pearl to keep a track of it and share it with me. So if there's anything that I can share, I don't know how can I avail of that chat box here. I don't think so. If it was in the previous share, it would have gone, Rajeshri, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So
yes, I could have gone, but if Pearl has kept some of the questions, or those of you, the participants have come here, if you don't mind, could you just type the questions back on here? We can still access them from this chat box. So please don't hesitate. You have time with ma'am.
Yes, and I needed this time, therefore I changed, though it was only one slide, because your questions are more important than what I am presenting, because your queries need to be sorted and answered. You need to know what you need to study, how do you need to go about the admission, what is the job requirement, because a committed person is required for this job.
So
Compassionate, committed, yeah.
yes, and Ria Gomez has a question for us. Is there a separate exam for RCR recognition, or is it part of the syllabus?
It is a part of the syllabus. It's a part where it's a recognized program. So when you're doing a course, there are many courses that are special education based, but they are not recognized. But our course here is recognized and it's a part of it. You don't have to do anything. In fact, for your certification process, also towards the end of your second year, we guide you into how you need to do it. It requires a letter from the college that this candidate has done this course from our college, and so on they issue you a certificate.
Hmm.
It's a part of the course. You don't have to do anything separately for it.
I also have a question. By the way, I'm not Rajshri. That's my principal's ID. I'm Cecilia. I think we've been
Oh, I
connected.
saw the name there. I'm sorry.
No, no, not at all. I just so I think SNDT used to have a B.Ed in special education.
It continues to have. It has
That is
in
also
learning
RCI.
disability.
Huh.
That's also RCI. It has learning disability and it has um, uh, intellectual disability. But autism spectrum disorder
Autism
is
is
not there.
just.
Yes,
Hmm.
autism is at Suvidya. It's at our college.
Okay, okay.
And it's a more upcoming field, so I can see more job opportunities because every time we keep getting called for jobs at
Okay.
various centers. Now LD is saturated, so
Huh.
it's a field. It's like, computer technology once upon a time, was a big thing, and we had courses and courses and courses. People would get into it, and how to make a PPT and how to design. Now it's full. Now everybody knows it. It's
Hmm.
saturated. You don't have any diploma and degree. I remember when I completed my 10th, there was a close by, you know, diploma course, and everybody said, do it, computer. You learn computer. But
Hmm.
now it's not so. So what I'm saying is, among all the special education fields, also, one, you should look at your interest, what you
Yes.
can handle, what you can work around, and two, extend your avenues. Now, learning disability course as a part of cross disability approach is also there in this particular B.Ed ASD. There's one whole paper, there's one whole casework that you do with learning disability disabled students. So there is an opportunity, and plus you get a qualification in ASD. And you all are psychology students, I'm sure you would have seen a lot of programs outside in UAE and the other places, around the world, on ABA, which is very costly program. And we have one whole paper, and it's conducted by equipped professional people. So ABA is a paper that's offered in this. So whenever you go outside and you apply for jobs, they ask, are you trained ABA? We have that paper with us, which will not be there in any other course. So these are other facilities that you get when you are doing ASD. So you have ASD, you have general education subject teaching armor with you. So if you want to switch into general education, yes, you have your degree and qualification, which very clearly states you can be an English teacher, you can be a maths teacher, you can be a science teacher, depending upon your graduation subject. Plus, you have one whole paper on learning disability. So you have widened your spectrum of work. We have one whole paper on inclusive education. So does other field have, but you don't get ASD then at other places, because I know have going to being invited at SNDT and Hashwadwani to conduct ASD specific programs and lectures where they have smaller modules in it. An ABA paper, of course, seldom anybody takes it because it requires a person who's trained in it.
That's true. That's true. And
So,
we've had some students who've done ABA from the US, and we have also had a student, I'm sorry, who's gone and interned in one of the centers, autism centers in Dubai. I think she's on the chat somewhere. But
okay.
yes, it's. I'm glad. I'm sure she's here and she's attended your talk, and I'm sure this talk will be extremely useful to her. I'm talking about Tanaz. I don't know if she's around.
So it's a most sought out thing. So if you go outside and you have an LD qualification versus if you have this qualification, like I'm saying, if I get an opportunity to do a B.Ed once again myself, what I will think good for myself is what I will think it will be good for you all. And so I would have done a B.Ed ASD. But in those days, we didn't have this course. We didn't have it. I so very much wanted to do it. So I had to do it through other sources, but we didn't have this course here. We had it only in US. So many of my batchmates who wanted to do it, they went to US and they did it. We didn't have a program like that here. Now
Correct,
in
correct.
2015 it has started, and it's a very nice program. I think if you're doing your B.Ed in special education and you can get a spectrum of abilities and skills in yourself, this is a good program. If you want learning disability, you want pedagogy, you want inclusive education plus ASD and ABA, this is all a compact program. 2 years having everything in it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, ma'am. I don't see any more questions posted here. Last call for questions. Anybody? We also have our next two speakers on board who just logged in to do a tech checks so that we don't have any of the issues that we had earlier.
No problem.
Um, so Meghna has a question. Does University of Mumbai have a higher preference in terms of students intake than other colleges for these kinds of courses?
No. The choice, that enrollment choice, I told you, 50% for outside, for reserved category, and that's it. There's no preference. But if you choose ASD, you have to select that program. When you fill in your application form, you have to specify which disability you're looking at as choice one, and that's how they give out. Supposing you're selecting Gandhi Shikshan as your college of choice, then you will be getting that college in high probability. But if you write Suvidya College of Special Education or ASD program, in the drop box there are options: choice 1, choice 2, choice 3. You will get that option first. So you are allowed to use couple of options. You can choose it and select what you want. Even option 1, 2, 3 in an order, you can do that if you want.
All right. So I think we will end this session here now. And ma'am, we thank you so much for making yourself available for us. And it was a quite in-depth discussion of this field. And I know it's going to be useful. I have a student of mine I know who's extremely interested in this. So I know that there will be some inquiries coming your way for sure.
Yes, please
Right.
pass on my personal number
Yes,
and
yes.
you can connect with me on WhatsApp.
Sure,
And
ma'am. Thank you